Hello, welcome back to another episode here on the Okay, I Got It podcast. I'm your host, Destiny Lanaya, and I've been gone. Posting has been sporadic. I have just been getting acquainted with my new schedule from work. That being said, for today's segment, there was this advice that I was given by someone. I don't remember who. There have been so many people in my life that have given me a plethora of different types of advice. Some of it I take, some of it I don't, because it doesn't apply. But this one in particular, I heard it at the time that I heard it, and it didn't really click for me until recently. Someone had told me, choose your hard. Which hard are you going to invest your time, your spirit, your mental, your money, all of these other things? What are you going to invest in? What hard is that? What hard are you going to consistently and structurally make efforts for? What hard is that? And only you can determine what that hard is, right? And I've heard it and I was just like, yeah, that makes so much sense. It sounds like it's very profound. It is. And it didn't click for me until recently. So I'll give you a little story. Friday night, I was driving home from work. And because I live an hour away from where I live as of right now, I'm in the process of relocating so that I'm closer to my job. But I live an hour away from where I live. And I was driving home from work. And the headspace that I was in driving home, I can't really sit here and say it was anything negative. There was really nothing going on, honestly, that I was in a negative headspace. I was just ready to go home. Driving on the interstate overstimulates me. I'm not gonna fucking lie to you. Specifically at night, because people don't know how to drive and I can't fucking see. I have my prescription glasses. However, girl, I still can't see. It's nighttime. I can't see as it is. Hello? Anyway, so I'm driving home from work and all of a sudden my car is giving me this notification that my PSI is getting low and that I need to tend to one of my tires. And I'm just like, because usually I get this notification in the morning because it's crispier in the morning now. It's fall. So that's usually when I get it, and I take care of it when I can in the morning, depending on how late I am leaving the house so I can make it to work on time. But it just threw me off. I was just like, my PSI is getting low. What the fuck? And my car has this feature where you can go to the tire section and it shows you your PSI for each of your tires. And so I did that and it was showing my driver's side tire. Usually this notification goes off in the morning for my passenger side, and the front passenger is usually when this notification goes off. But all of my other tires were fine. It was just my driver's side. And this, whenever I was driving it to work by I want to say an hour within my commute, it was at 33. That's the max, I believe, for my tires is 33. I think it's 35, but 33. All of a sudden, I check and it says 24. And I'm just like, 24. That's weird. Usually I don't ever let my PSI get that low. I'm usually pretty good at making sure the shit is leveled. So I'm like, 24. And I'm like, okay. So I leave it on there on that feature, just watching it to see if it's gonna get worse. So I'm just I'm at this point 25 minutes into the town that I live in. I'm like, okay, hopefully I can make it in by me having a 25 PSI in my driver tire. Surely I will be fine, right? Surely I can make it home and I can figure out what to do in the morning. As I'm driving, it's rapidly going down. It went from 24 to 18. And I'm just like, oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. And I start panicking. I start freaking the fuck out. Luckily, I'm freaking out mentally. Physically, I'm composed and I'm driving my car and I'm aware, but mentally, your girl is going fucking ballistic. And so I'm just watching this drastically go down. And my first instinct was okay, what the fuck? I don't condone driving distracted. I don't. However, in this moment for me, bitch, I don't live whatever. So I go to my phone and the first thing I do is that I search the possible causes of a PSI drastically going down quickly. And the main feedback, which I already knew this was going to be the feedback, I was just hoping to see something different. I don't fucking know. I was hoping to see a miracle that I don't know. So I see that it says that there is a massive air leak or you have hit something. While I was driving, nothing out of sort happened. Like, I didn't have to swerve. I wasn't being obnoxious. I wasn't driving like Vin Diesel. Like, I was literally just, I don't normally drive in the farthest right lane because I don't like that lane, and everyone drives slow as hell in that lane. Even though the speed limit is 70, people be going like 50 in that lane. 50 is a stretch. 65, okay, cool, I get that. That's comfortable, that's cruising, okay. 50? Are you trying to cause an accident? Anyway, the speed limit's 70. What the fuck? Whatever. I don't normally camp out in that lane, but I have been lately because I have issues with my car. Like, I have a wheel bearing issue. My brakes are not good. So I've been driving extra careful. I've been taking extra precaution, even though it has been literally killing my car enthusiast insides. But it's like, I have to do what I have to do. I have to drive an hour back and forth. You gotta make sacrifices, right? So I'm driving slow as hell. Well, not slow as hell. I'm driving 65. So I'm just like cruising, and I'm like, okay, I'm technically in the, sorry, I got scared. I saw a white vehicle and got traumatized. But like, I am in the safest lane, essentially, driving at a very safe speed limit. Mind you, it's dark. There's not very many cars. And on top of that, semis are driving slower than me. So it's like, I don't feel in danger. So I'm just watching it, 24 to 18. I'm looking up, I realize that there's a massive leak somewhere because I don't remember hitting anything. I'm driving safe. I don't remember hitting nothing. There was not like a weird noise other than like the sound of the car that's making when I have to brake and stuff. Like, there's nothing abnormal. Like, I didn't hit anything, I don't think. So then I call my granddad because I'm freaking out, and he's the only man in this town that I can think of that will be able to help me. So I call my granddad, and I'm just like, hey, I just want to let you know I am driving from the interstate. My driver's side tire is getting flat. I don't know how it happened. I just know that my car gave me a notification that air is leaking. So if I call you again, I will make sure to let you know the location of where I'm at and if the condition has gotten worse, because I unfortunately don't know how to change a spare. Which makes me just like, you know, because it's like, girl, you should know how to do that. But at the same time, I don't. I don't. I do now. I've literally studied this video. So if I ever come across a situation like this again, I will be able to do it. However, I didn't feel comfortable trying to learn to do it in the dark. And I'm in a skirt. It just did not seem probable for me to do so. So I called him, I let him know that, and he was like, okay, like, try to get to town safely. And if you need to pull over, and I will come help you. And I was like, okay. So as I'm driving, at this point, I'm like 15 minutes from getting into town, 15. So I'm driving, and all of a sudden it went from 18 to 10, 10 to 9, 9 to 5, 5 to 3. Bitch, I was not trying to see what 2 and 1 looks like. I was not trying to experience that. Honestly, me telling this story, and then when I saw the tire, I'm still, the only thing that I can sit here and think of is that, bitch, I'm protected as fuck, because there's no fucking way that I should have been able to drive my vehicle and my vehicle still being withstanding, let alone me not causing an accident, because that tire looked fucking awful. I wish I took a picture that I can import and show y'all. But when I replaced the tire, the mechanic took that tire. But anyway, there's no way. There's just no way. I don't know. The only thing I can say is God. That's the only fucking thing I can say, because there's no way I should have been able to continue on driving. There's no way that my car is in good withstanding that it is. Like, there's just no way. I should have been in a fucking wreck. And I'm not saying that like I'm wishing that over myself. I'm just saying that like that's how powerfully protected and looked out for I am. And that shit's just, wow. Anyway, so I ended up getting into town. I'm nowhere near close to home, but I'm in town. I'm like 10 minutes away from home. So maybe a little close, but 10 minutes away from home. I realize I cannot drive home. Like, I don't want to see what 2 and 1 looks like. I'm not, like, there's no way. I'm also trying to get off of the busiest road in this town. This road is notorious for wrecks. Like, people just don't know how to drive around here. And this road in particular is where their stupidity shows. So I was not trying to experience that. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to pull in somewhere and call my granddad. So I pull into the nearest CVS. First of all, this CVS is sketchy as fuck. That's probably why I've never been to this one. And it's nighttime, by the way. At this time, it's like 8:30. So I call my 8:30, maybe 7 going into 8. Around that realm. I call my granddad. I'm like, hey, I'm parked in the CVS on blah, blah, blah road. Can you help me get my tire changed to the spare? And he's like, okay, I'm coming. I'm going to send someone over there. We'll get it taken care of. I got you. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's get to the fucking point. So I call my granddad. He's coming with a couple of guys to replace the spare. So I'm just sitting in my car, just like stressing the fuck out because I only have $20 to my name. The fuck am I going to do with that? Okay. Stressed out, thinking, how am I going to get to work on Monday? Because I cannot drive out of state on the interstate with this fucking donut. I cannot drive like that. No. And the speed limit on this particular spare that I have is 35 miles per hour. The speed limit on the interstate is 70. Girl, ain't no fucking way. Ain't no way I'm going to be able to make that commute until the 31st. There's just no way. So I'm over here stressing. But my granddad comes in clutch. The two men, they speak nothing but Spanish. They speak a little bit of English, like very, very little. But they were speaking mostly in Spanish, and they were kind of just talking about my tire. And I was able to understand them. My thing with Spanish is like I can comprehend quite a bit. It's just the responding part. I get too embarrassed and too shy, and then I shut up, and I'm just like, yeah. But I told them thank you in Spanish, and then my granddad said thank you because he didn't know, but now he knows. Anyway, when they took the tire off my car and they showed me, I was literally fighting back tears. I was just like, it's like, no way. I was like, no way. And my granddad's just like, how in the hell were you able to drive? I'm like, sir, I'm asking the same thing. I don't know. Ask God. God had everything to do with that because there's no way that I should have been able to been driving. Anyway, so they replaced the spare. I put the bad tire in my trunk and I sit in the car. My granddad's just like, hey, let me know when you make it home, blah, blah. And I was like, hey, cool. I get in the car, lock all the doors. I start bawling my eyes out, like just crying so bad because I'm just like, I just started my new job. I love this job. I love what I do. I love the environment that I work in. I enjoy my coworkers. I enjoy the manager that I work for. I love my job. I get paid what I deserve. I'm going to, like, my first paycheck, I ain't seen it yet, but girl, I know it's gonna be nice. I know it's gonna be nice as fuck. I'm getting paid what I deserve. I'm working the hours that I deserve. I'm doing what I love, working with books. Bro, I love this job. I don't want to quit. And I'm just like, there's no way. I've came so fucking far. There's no way it ends here. There's no way it stops here. What? So I'm just like stressing out so bad because also I don't have another job lined up. I mean, I do, but guess what? It's in another fucking state. It's in the same state that I'm working in. So if something for some reason didn't work with this job, not because, hey, I don't need that type of energy in my life. But I had another one. It was Amazon, the warehouse, you know? So I'm just like, but I don't have a job lined up in the place that I live in. This state, this town, I don't have another job. That's the reason why I was looking for one out of state. That is the reason why I'm moving out of state, because I don't want to be here anymore. I feel like I have reached the peak of any versions of myself in this state. I feel like there's no more of myself here. And so it's time for me to move. Anyway, so I'm just like stressing. I'm like, there's no way. I've came so far. I love what I do. There's no way I have to give it up because I can't fucking make it to work. And I'm just like, I can't just stop work, because if I stop work, I'm not going to be able to afford my bills. Like, what am I supposed to do? I don't have very many people that's willing, and that are not just willing, but I don't have very many people that are in the position to just be like, hey, here's $500. Take care of this. I drive a 2016 Nissan Maxima. That bitch is unnecessarily expensive when it comes to certain shit. Okay? Ain't no motherfucking way. Ain't no way that I can just come up with money out of my ass to get new tires. Just not happening. I say tires with an S. Fast forward, Saturday morning, right? I spend this whole morning trying to contact anybody that I could think of that could possibly help me. I went to Discount Tires. So they do an evaluation. Even though you go to them for like a particular issue, they typically do like a C evaluation of all of your tires, right? So that's what the, what do you call them? Assistant? Agent? Tellers? I don't know. That's what one of the men were doing, right? He checks all of them and he tells me, hey, your passenger side tire, the front, babes, you are literally like not that far off from having this shit bust on you. Like, the wires are in the position of sticking the fuck out. He didn't say it exactly like that. That's just me emphasizing. But I was just like, so not just one tire, I have to get two? And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. And maybe I was being a bit too transparent, because I was telling them, hey, I know you guys have like a firm, like you guys have that option, which is basically like it's a third party pay later voucher or whatever. So then I was just like, hey, like I know you guys have that. I literally only have $20 in cash. So help. Right? So he's like, yeah, like let's just see what we can do. Okay. So we go in and he finds affordable tires for me to put onto my car, right? He finds two tires that that are the size that I need for my car, or the size that goes to my car, for $299.98. If only I had $99.98, this would be no problem. However, I only had $20. And a firm was asking me to pay $47.54 just to start the application of making payments later to pay for these tires. Because a firm has granted me the purchasing power of $210, right? And so I'm just like, okay, clearly I do not have that. So I'm texting my old roommate. He's not in the position to help me because he's in a tight spot. I'm texting my uncle who works a night shift. So this nigga is asleep. I'm texting my best friend who was at work, and she's not able to, like, she was the only one that was able to actually like help me. The only thing is she was trying to help me, and just that wasn't working. So I called my granddad, the last resort, even though he had told me the night before to call him to let him know on any updates on what we can do, blah, blah. So I called him and I kind of just tell him everything. I tell him about a firm. I tell him about Discount Tires. I tell him that I have to get 2 tires instead of just 1. And he's just like, he's having a time. He's having a time. And he's just like, oh, baby. And I'm just like, yeah. Yeah. So eventually long story short, I don't go to Discount. My granddad ends up taking me to another man. This mechanic is well known. Everyone pretty much goes to this mechanic in this town. He is very reliable. He's very reasonable. He's very respectful. And he literally listens to what you need and he applies that. I'm going to be going to him when I have the funds to get my wheel bearing and to get my brakes done, because he's reasonable, he makes sense, and he knows what the fuck he's doing. And I love that. And I don't know very many mechanics around here. Anyway. So we end up getting my tires replaced, blah, 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 whatever. Granddad's helping me, but while he's helping me, he's literally reading for me for filth, like getting on my ass so hard, just like grilling me. Some of the things he's saying is very accurate, very on point, very Destiny, hold yourself accountable. And the other things, it's like he's venting and he's just upset, and I happen to be the cherry on top of tipping him overboard, and he was just taking that out on me. So there were like a lot of moments where I wasn't taking a lot of things he said personal, because like he's just venting, and I'm going to him with a very tricky, tight ass situation, and it's 2025. We have a fucking idiot for president. So it's like there's just so much, and he's venting, and I happen to be the one he's lashing that shit out on. But there was a lot of things that he was saying. There was one where things like, I don't understand why you're doing what you're doing. Like, I don't understand why you're driving an hour back and forth. I don't understand why you're trying to move. I don't understand, like, why are you wanting to leave? I don't know why you're doing this, da 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 da. And it just kind of took me back to this advice that had been given to me of pick your hard, or choose your hard. And the hard that I'm choosing is the one that requires me to go out of my comfort zone. The one that requires me to push myself, to be around different people, different environments, to open myself up to opportunities, to do things that I was scared to do. For the longest time, anticipating if I even got the job or not, because the interview process and the hiring process is so freaking lengthy. But just like anticipating if I got the job, if this is something for me, I was literally thinking about quitting, like just giving up and just being like, you know what, maybe I should just go back to the clinic. Maybe I should just go and find a job elsewhere that I know I'm not going to get paid enough, or I know I'm not going to get the hours, or I know I'm not going to be happy. I know I'm going to feel like I'm stuck. Like, let me just give up now. Like, is this something that you want to spend your life going after? And I came to the conclusion, this is my hard. This is not going to make sense to you. It's not going to be applicable to you. You're going to look at me and probably think that I'm insane and crazy. And guess what? That's okay. And my granddad, it was just like, he was speaking out of fear. And I know he was coming from a place of like just being concerned about me. But it's like, I'm not the type of person that is willing to hide myself or shrink myself for long, that is, because of fear. The way I utilize fear as a fuel system, I utilize it as a fuel in the sense of, okay, me being scared is like valid and it's there and it's pushing me, but it's also like, how far can I go? If I'm scared, then that means I'm close to it. Or if I'm scared, that means I at least have the courage enough to go after it. So like, how far can I go? How far can I go? So why am I going to stop now? So I wrote a couple of things in my journal, just kind of going along the sense of, or along the realm of choosing your hard. The first thing that I wrote was, the minute things become challenging, that does not mean something isn't working necessarily. Everything is new. This does not mean to abandon the post and go back to what you know. I'm not that kind of person. I don't do very well with routine in some aspects of my life, especially when I know I'm wanting to evolve, or especially if I haven't got to experience what it is that I desire. If I know that there's a way for me to get there, there's a method, there's a plan, there's an opportunity for me to get there, I'm gonna take it. I'm not just gonna sit in fear that like, oh, what if it doesn't work out? Or what if I lose everything? What if I have to give something up? Or what if I have to change? You know what? That's the fucking point. That's the point. That's the whole point. You can't experience change without having to let go of something. You can't experience improvement without having to let go of something, without having to pivot. change direction, look into something differently, meet different people, be a part of a different environment, be associated with something different. There's no way that you can do any of those things if you're stuck in the same spot all the time because you're scared. Being scared, again, is valid. However, that should not be the reason that you give up and stop. It should not be the reason you go back to what you know because you think it's easy. Nothing in this fucking life is easy. Change, transformation, pivoting, none of that is easy. It's not supposed to. Easy, I like to think, is simplicity. Simplicity, I like to think, is a reoccurring, constant loop that doesn't stop until you wake up and you're just like, I want something different. I want to be a part of something different. The other thing I put is you can't take everyone with you. And sometimes you can't. And that's okay. That just means you have more room for other people. Or you have more room for many versions and discoveries of yourself. The other part that I wrote was be careful sympathizing with someone. You may have seen a past version of yourself in them. However, the journey is never yours to build. That shit will break you down. Kind of going the same thing as far as like you can't take everyone with you. Just because you see your past self in someone else's behavior or someone else's present does not mean that that is your responsibility to take on the courage or take on the journey of building them up or changing their life or pivoting them. You can't do that for them. That is their responsibility. That is their job. Let them do it. If they don't want to, or if them doing that in some way loses you, let yourself be lost. Better yet, let them miss you. Let them miss you. And if you are the person on the other end, just miss them. Move the fuck on, but just miss them. Maybe I will cover a breakup episode at some point, but I don't know. Another thing that I put, you can start over. You can start over however many times you need. It doesn't need to look the same as anyone else's, but you can definitely start over. That's literally life. That's literally life. You may have had a method or a routine or a lifestyle that has worked for you for however fucking long, and now there's something different, or you have a new vision, you have a new desire, you have a new goal, and it requires you to uproot everything. Guess what? You can start over, and it's okay. Starting over doesn't necessarily mean you have to start from scratch. Some people start over and they start with a little bit of remnants of what they had before. Like I said, starting over looks different. It doesn't have to be the same as someone else's start over process. That's okay. But the key thing, it's normal and valid to start over. The other thing that I put was not very many will understand or even support what you're doing and where you're going, and that is okay. Surround yourself, open yourself to ones moving the way you do or are in the similar direction as you. Also, one of the things I was sticking out with my granddad, and again, I know he means well whenever he was helping me and whenever he was lecturing me, he told me that he doesn't support what I'm doing. He doesn't support it and he doesn't understand it. And my first instinct, and this is how I knew that I'm literally on the right path. My first instinct wasn't even to defend. It wasn't to argue. It wasn't trying to give an explanation. It was just to be like, okay, I get it. But the difference between my granddad and I is that I'm not going to stop because of fear. I'm not willing to settle and be comfortable in something that I know because I know it already. I've accomplished it, or I have succeeded in it, or I just know how predictable it is. I'm not that kind of person. I've never been that kind of person. And I feel like that's what has made me kind of like the oddball or the black sheep in the family, because I've never been the person to just do the same thing or be a part of the same thing because I know it already. I've always been the one that's open to learn something new, to digest in something. I've always been the one to take a seed and water it, grow it, nurture it, and see how beautiful the changes are. I've always romanticized change. Even when it was difficult and hard, I've always romanticized it. I've always romanticized transformation because I know Rather, I get excited and optimistic for what the other end looks like. And this is going to get a little deep. This is the first time in my life. I'm 24. This is the first time in my life where I actually want to live. Like, I'm excited for what tomorrow looks like. I'm excited for what my future is going to look like in 6 months and 2 years. I'm excited for that. I want to see that. I want to build that. I want to create that. This is the first time in my life that I want that. So I'm going to go after it, regardless of how scary it is. Because all these problems that I have now, they're not going to go away just because I'm staying in my hometown and I have a job in my hometown. They're not going to go away. They're still going to be here. They're still going to be here. I'm still going to have to worry about it. I'm still going to have to do the same fucking process as far as waiting for a paycheck so I have enough funds to afford something. But it's like, all of these different problems that I have, they're still going to be here regardless if I'm here or in another state. What the fuck am I going to stop for? What I do know, what I have been exposed to, is that this other state has so many different opportunities for me that are not here. This one state has my dream job. And I'm getting all of the benefits that I deserve. I'm not going to let that go because shit's getting hard and because I'm scared. That just pushes me to go even harder. Last but not least, because this episode's getting a little too long, look in the mirror. My favorite exercise that I have been implementing in my life lately is just like conversing with myself in the mirror. It's kind of like conversing with another person. I'm giving myself the opportunity to allow myself to be a person. Someone outside of just what I'm consciously aware of. Just being a person, like, hey, that's a person. That's a human being. And they're talking. What are they talking about? What is the conversation at hand? Why do they feel the way they feel? Why are they doing the things that they're doing? Why are they thinking the way that they're thinking? It gives me a chance to like see myself as a person, and I absolutely love it. And not only that, but I'm able to, it's like, yeah, I'm seeing myself as a person and also able to like reflect on like how different I look than the way I looked 4, 5 years ago. I look so different. I feel different. I think different. I move different. And like I said, it's one of my favorite exercises. So to end this episode, I have homework for you. I recommend that you look in the mirror, have a conversation with yourself, say affirmations. Better yet, depending on your belief system, pray. Look in the mirror and pray. Have a conversation. Like I said, affirmations, or just admire yourself. The minute you start pinpointing out the things that you don't like or the things you want to change, ayo, shut that shit down. We ain't thinking about that right now. Admire yourself. Give yourself some credit. Tell yourself how proud of yourself you are. List your accomplishments. Speak of your plans and the goals that you have and the dreams that you have. Say something that has brought a highlight to you. And if you need to, talk about a low. Like get it all out. But most importantly, give yourself credit, but also choose your hard. And don't measure your hard to someone else's. It's going to look different. Hello? Choose your hard. Choose it wisely. And do whatever makes sense to you. You will find people within your tribe. You will find people that agree or on the same move or on the same wavelength. You'll find them. And when you do, cherish them. Cherish them. But all in all, choose your heart. This episode is a bit too long to talk about books, so I probably would do an episode just talking about books, reflecting. But outside of that, I hope you guys have a lovely day, evening, or night. And I'll talk to you